Good morning. It is day 4 Hormone Bootcamp. So I am super happy to see that some of you are already starting to see the benefits of being consistent just with water and minerals. Guys, just with water and minerals. Like, how crazy is that? And I want you guys to start thinking about one thing here that we're only 4 days in. I want you to imagine, I want you to start thinking about what life is going to be like if you continue this practice for the next 6 months, a year, 2 years, 5 years, right? I've been doing this for about 7 years, and I continue to just mineralize my body. It's something that's just very simple to do. And like I said, it's simple to do, but also simple not to do. So this is why I start to bring out these other concepts of, I guess I will call success mindset type of concepts that I'm sharing with you, because the information is out there. I've been sharing this information for years. So, people that find my blogs, find my videos and things like that, they have the information, but they don't take action, right? And so I think that part of that is because if you are well, how you do anything is how you do everything. So if you are used to going about life in a way where, let's say for example, you're not used to finishing what you start, right? You can start to see that pattern repeat in different areas of your life. You start a diet and you don't finish it. You start a project, you don't finish it. Maybe you start learning how to play an instrument, but you don't finish, right? And these are patterns that we all have, and we just have to become aware of these patterns. And the best way that I can describe it is, if you ever watch Groundhog Day, it's basically, for those of you who haven't watched it, you should. But basically, it's the same day being repeated over and over and over and over until he becomes aware of this repetition. And by becoming aware of the repetition, he starts to change little things. He starts to time things and basically begins to change behavior, right? And so some of you are actually experiencing that right now, because as you are journaling, as you are writing down everything that you are eating, you're basically going to start to notice patterns. You're going to start to notice behaviors. And as you become aware of these behaviors, you're going to start to be able to make those changes, and you're going to start to change your behaviors, basically, and start to basically go in a different direction. Now, here's the other thing, and this is why I'm bringing the this saying: hold fast, stay true, right? Staying true north, basically it's a way of saying, like, hey, you got to know the direction that you are going into. And in the past, like, I've always tried to get people to write down a goal, to really get very clear and specific on their outcome, on what is it that they are looking to accomplish. You got to know what direction you are going to. And then holding fast, if you think the old Navy days, old wooden ships, you got these big swells, and you got people up on top, and when the seas are rough, you got to hold fast. You got to grab onto something so that you don't fall overboard. And so that can basically mean a few different things, but one of them for me is find a support system, find something that you can grab onto. And for me, that's what this boot camp is for. It's for you to have something to grab onto, for you to basically say, okay, you're looking to produce more hormones. How many people that that are on the same mission as you? And I'm talking not in this group. I mean, outside of this group, chances are that there's probably none. If anything, you might have like one or two people, but most people don't have anyone else that knows what you're going through. I go to work and people see all the stuff that I bring in, my water, my probiotics, and basically they see I'm on a liquid diet, and they don't understand. right? They're always asking me like, oh, are you still trying to lose weight? And I'm like, no, my goal is not to lose weight. Like I have, gut issues that I'm looking to solve, and I don't expect them to understand. And that's why I don't expect them to do anything of what I do. I don't expect really anyone to do what I do, because I understand that my goals and the things that I am looking to accomplish, they may be way too, I don't know, I want to call it like, a big goal or a big dream, that I know that not many people are going to be willing to do everything that I do, right? I share a lot of, pretty much everything that I do with you guys. But there's still like a lot of little aspects and little things that, I haven't really even begin to touch myself. Things like, and I'll be talking about these, sharing everything that I do. But like one of the plants that I have, I actually just sourced it out, a liquor that's called Bacanora. For those of you who don't know what Bacanora is, it's basically tequila. And it comes from the northwest part of Mexico. You just can't call it tequila because tequila can only be grown in Tequila, Jalisco. But in the northwest part of Mexico, there's still agave plants, and my grandfather actually used to make this, and so this is actually a homemade, made from agave plant, basically the same thing as tequila. It's actually stronger, but it's smoother. Anyways, so where I'm going with that is, for me, this is not something that I'm going to be doing as like recreational, like, oh, I'm gonna do shots and get drunk kind of thing. I already have enough of a stigma being a sailor and a brewer to being kind of like a drunken sailor or whatever. But the whole reason why I sourced it out, that Bacanora, is because alcohol can be used to get rid of bad bacteria in your gut. And so I'm going to be showing you guys how I'm going to prepare, I guess what I'm going to be calling, like, I don't know, some sort of like elixirs, or I don't know what to call them really right now. But they're going to be probiotic drinks, using that alcohol as part of a, as a way for me to cleanse, my gut, and help heal my gut kind of thing. So anyway, so that's just like an example of, something that I would do, where, most people would, take Bacanora and they're like, I'm just going to do shots and like parties. Like, no, for me, it's not going to be recreational. When I do it, I'm going to probably be in a fasted state. Um, you know, I'm only doing it, through, as a part of a cleanse, basically, which is very different, right? So anyway, so the reason why I'm bringing all that up, and something else that I want to bring up, I know that the links were still having, I guess, a little bit of an issue with it, and so part of it, okay, part of it is this. Part of it is that, since I'm sending messages through Facebook using a ManyChat, I guess is what it's called, a little software. One of the things that Facebook doesn't want is for me to be sending out messages to people, and then if people don't open up those messages, then it can be seen, be seen as spam. And so this is why, I had people register for this Hormone Bootcamp, because I only wanted to send messages to people who wanted to receive those messages. Like I said, we started with about 17 people, and now we're kind of down to about 10 people that I'm seeing, well, it's a little bit more than 10 people. I think it's like 11 or 12, that are actually engaging. And here's what that means. The other people that are not engaging, they're actually affecting everyone else, right? And so this is kind of like where it goes back to, you are the average of the 5 closest people you surround yourself with. So whenever a community is created like this, I want everyone who follows me to succeed. I want everyone who follows me to get more energy. But I know that not everyone is willing to do what it takes. And basically, and when I say willing to do what it takes, I'm talking about to do what it takes to for them to help themselves. Right? Like, I'm doing this with or without. Like, this ship is sailing with or without people. And so I'm just basically looking for crew members, if you will, that are going to be out to sea, that I can rely on, that are not going to basically drag us down. Because, when you're out to sea and a casualty happens, you need crew members who are there, who are engaged, who are actually looking to get to the same destination as you. Because if you're with people who don't care about where they're at, and they're not helping you get to your destination, more than likely they're going to drag you down. And so this is what you're going to start to see how this applies in many areas of your life. So part of life is not just to focus on what you want, but also start to eliminate the things that bring you down. And you're going to see how this is going to apply with food. So tonight, I'm going to be going live inside of the Facebook group. And I'm going to be talking about diet. So I'm going to be actually having you guys start sending me, like your food diaries that you have. That way I can start to get an idea of, hey, good morning, Carolina. That way I can have an idea of what you guys have, and I'm going to actually start, showing you, and how everything that I am sharing with you, all these little concepts, how it applies to your health, how it applies to you. Okay, now that you know what you want, now that you know where you are headed, your diet is going to start to go through the same kind of filter. You're going to start to look at your breakfast and say, is this helping me get in the direction of my goal? And if it's not, then you're going to start to eliminate it, right? And that's how I've been able to basically improve my health. And this is actually transferring to a lot of areas of my life right now. I am going through a massive transformation in all areas of my life, not just in my health, but in building new relationships in my professional life. There's a lot of things, a lot of projects that I have going on, and that's part of what I've had to do. I've literally hold myself up, and basically kind of isolated myself from everyone, like everyone that I know personally. Like literally, like I've isolated myself, like my family, my close friends, everyone, like they all know. It's not like I stopped talking to them, but they all know that, hey, I'm in a period of my life where I am doing what I call deep work, which is another book. I don't know if I'll be talking about it throughout this boot camp, but it's a good book where it talks about, hey, when you really want something, you have to give it your full attention. You have to really dedicate yourself to it. And it goes back to the same thing. There are distractions everywhere. There are going to be things that are going to try to get you off track from the things that you want to do. And that's why I love this saying, hold fast, stay true. You gotta always be aware of people and or things, events, circumstances that are trying to derail you from getting to where you want to go. And you're going to start to see with everything that we're doing here how it all applies, very well. And let's see here, before the light, I've been asking for too long, I've been avoiding friends, that's not so good, and it's not. But here's the thing. um it's one thing, like I'm not isolating myself to avoid people per se. I'm isolating myself to make time for the things that I want, right? And so for me, for example, when it comes to, like, friends, and isolating myself from friends, it's not that I'm isolating my friend from friends, but if I have friends that all they want to do is basically go out, drink, party, and do things like that. And as much as I enjoy their company, as much as I enjoy going out and doing those things, um health is my priority right now. And there are a lot of big things that I feel that, hey, that's going to be more fulfilling. And so what that means for me is that, hey, maybe it's time for me to make new friends. Maybe it's time for me to surround myself with people who want to be healthy like me, who actually, you know give a damn, I guess, about their bodies, and actually care about what they do to their bodies. Because I now understand that, hey, you are the average of the five closest people you surround yourself with. And so if I surround myself with people who all they do is party, drink, eat junk food, and they don't care about where they're going in life, then that's essentially what I'm going to, that's where my life is going to be headed. And because I now understand that, hey, in order for me to reach my goals, it's time for me to basically find new people and find people who are actually going to help me to get there, right? And this is really what life is about. And so you're going to actually experience this in different areas of your life as you begin. For anyone, I'm going to actually be doing a boot camp on well, this is actually more of an entrepreneurial boot camp, but especially for anxiety and depression and things like that. I'm going to be talking, a lot about that. But this is something that I've had to really, really understand and figure out when it comes to finances. For those of you who don't know, when I first started going through all my health issues, I spent about 6 months, actually a little bit more than that. I spent closer to like 9 months to a year, where I wasn't working. I mean, I was just so fatigued. I had horrible brain fog. I just could not even work, and I basically was living off of savings. And then it just got to a point where I had a lot of, a lot of projects going on at the time. Had just literally invested over $30,000 into a project, and my income just tanked. And so that actually put me in a situation where I nearly had to file for bankruptcy. I mean, I was literally completely wiped out, and then I just went through like this roller coaster with my finances. And it wasn't until I started surrounding myself with people who were into like I guess success, business, wealth creation, people that actually helped me out through different areas of life, that my finances started to improve, right? And again, it goes back to the same thing. When I'm around people, I can pick out their language when I hear people. And I don't know if Brian, if you're watching this, but he can attest to this. When people, for example, my car broke down when I went to pay, and my friend Brian was with me, and he was noticing how calm I was, how cool, collected I was about the whole situation. And I remember him saying something along the lines of like, "Oh, like, is it going to be expensive?" And I heard that. And as a friend, I was like, "Here's the deal, knowing what I've been through, that language is language that I used to use. And it's part of what I've now been able to, catch myself doing. It's a pattern that I grew up with. And because I now understand that wealth creation and basically money isn't something that you make, you attract it, and you attract it by being grateful, by staying calm, by not allowing emotions. This is like the relationship that you have with money. This is how it applies, right? I used to go to restaurants, and I grew up, middle class in Mexico. We didn't really go out to eat. We went out to eat like, enough times, but usually when we would go out to eat, we had this, I guess our pattern, our behavior pattern was, we would look at a menu and we would read it from right to left. Basically, we would scan the prices, and then, we look, okay, this looks like it's not too expensive. Then we would choose that. It's like, okay, does it look good? Right? Instead of going to to a restaurant and looking at a menu and just picking out what you actually want without any regards to money, that is a change. That's a transformation that needs to happen. And that's basically changing your relationship with money. And the way that you do that is basically by getting around people who behave that way, because then you become aware of your behavior patterns. And this is what I was talking about earlier with Groundhog Day. You may not be aware that this is going on in your life, but as you become aware of it, right? A bootcamp that I'm going to be creating is basically a similar to this, where just like I'm helping you guys become aware of your diet, I can help you become aware of other things, other patterns that may not be serving you in your life, and help you change those. All of that is internal work that people need to do. It's internal work that I've had to do. And it's because I've gone through the process, I can actually talk about it and teach it. Right. So that's where all of that, is coming from. And so the more that I understand this, the more that I understand that, isolating myself, it's not about avoiding people. It's more about surrounding myself with people that I do want, right? I still talk to people. I still, meet strangers and meet people and basically stay in touch with a lot of friends, even though I know that they are not good. As far as, say for example, for health, like they don't eat good or anything like that, I will still be friends with them. I just know that I would much rather spend more time with people who are healthy, right? And so it's just balancing those things. It's the same thing with diet. Um, a lot of people think that I don't eat junk food. Hey, you know what? I would eat pizza, but I just know that that's not good for me. I would much rather drink my liquids, drink my water with minerals, drink my, my juices. And if I ever do want to eat something bad, I can, but it's just giving priority to what you want. And the only reason why I'm able to do that is the same saying: hold fast, stay true. I know where I want to go. I know exactly what my goal is. And because I give priority to that goal, that's what allows me to basically, stay in that direction. And it may seem from the outside like I'm isolating myself, but I am not. Really, what I am doing is I am basically, this is what people call self love. When you actually give priority to the things that you want and you start living your life, when you just start basically being yourself, and you don't allow external circumstances to derail you from where you want to go and who you want to be, that's when change happens, right? And that's what this bootcamp is going to teach you, because you're starting to learn little habits that are taking you in the direction that you want to go, right? I'm not I'm not here like telling anyone that you need to be like me. I am helping you basically accomplish what you've told me you want to do. Want more energy, want to learn how to produce hormones, balance out your hormones. I'm just basically showing you what I do. And I'm telling you, without these concepts of being strong, holding fast, staying true, it's going to be hard, because once the boot camp is over in 6 weeks, you're back to normal life. And unless you hold on to friends that you're going to be meeting throughout this boot camp, when you start seeing who's engaging and who's not, this is why I mentioned that earlier. Pay attention to who's actually engaging, because those are people that you want to become friends with. And now you're no longer isolating yourself, but you are prioritizing who your friends are, because you know that the friends that you're hanging out with, they're going to be taking you in the direction that you want to know. And now you're just really more protecting your environment. You're protecting, who you surround yourself with, because you know that you are the average of the 5 closest people you surround yourself with. Isolation for a while is healthy. It's called giving yourself space. Yes, self-love, that's exactly what that is. The water supplementation video was great. Awesome. I'm so glad that you guys, the only people that got that video, by the way, is people who actually engaged, with the message that I sent. So I'm so happy for everyone who is participating and engaging, because you guys are getting, great information, and you're starting to see these concepts really come to life and really see them in play. So I'm excited. Like I said, 7 p.m. I'll be going live, 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time in Arizona, inside of the Facebook group. I'll be sending a message later today. And again, engage with that message. And start sending the the diets. I'm going to ask you for the diets. That way I can start figuring out what to how I can help you better with that. Last but not least, if you hydrated today, let me know below. Say hydrate, and I will look forward to seeing you guys at 7 p.m. tonight. Have a great day. Talk to you guys later.